Welcome to the Integration Station. I'm Naturally Ashley, your host, here to guide you down the rabbit hole into the world of psychoactive plants, frogs, and fungi. Good morning, you beautiful souls. Welcome to another episode of the Integration Station. Thank you for continuing to show up. I'm Naturally Ashley, your host, bringing you two amazing guests today. First up is Dev. Dev is from Oakland, California. He's the founder of Peel, Heal, Reveal, a method that he found is really what the mushrooms were doing. He is a mushroom doula and here to talk to us about the importance of integration, as well as show us how to do the work. Because you can't just expect that mushrooms are going to fix everything. You know, as my mentor, Dr. Dan Engel says, the psychedelics are great at showing you what work is yours to do, but it's still up to you to do it. And this is why the integration work is so important. Next up is Jacqui, and Jacqui is a retreat leader in Costa Rica. She's also an integration coach, much like myself. She is the founder of Embracing Your Light. You can find her on Retreat Guru and The Third Wave, amongst other amazing resources. This girl is really tapped in. She's going to talk about psychedelic diaries, how to stay limitless, her method, which is the micro method. She's also going to talk about solutions, benefits, and last but not least, share some of her personal experiences. So stay tuned.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
Hello and welcome, you beautiful souls, to another episode at the Integration Station. I've got my friend Dev here. He is the mushroom doula, and I'm really excited to introduce you to him and introduce him to the rest of the community here, because there is lots of insights and good vibes and positivity coming from this man, and I'm really excited about this. So without further ado, Dev, if you want to share, your own little intro, your story, what brought you here.
Most definitely. Thank you for having me. I truly appreciate it. We crossed paths, I want to say about a year ago.
Yeah.
And to be here is an honor, so I appreciate you. I'm Dev. I am the mushroom doula, and I am extremely passionate of helping people find their purpose and their way and do inner work, shadow work, and just to get the divine guidance that people are truly looking for outside with the sacred mushroom. And as a kid, I didn't know I had certain gifts. So now, as I did my own healing, I was able to connect the dots and to be like, yo, this is actually the path for me. I grew up in Richmond, California, next to Oakland, San Francisco. It's a beautiful thing to be here with you, and anything that I can do to share and possibly touch some people or help some people, it feels in alignment with my purpose.
Yeah, thank you. I'm first of all curious, if you're willing to share with us what started this journey. How did you get inspired to work with mushrooms, to start a business around mushrooms?
Yeah, I'm still working on the business thing, but so for me, I was a merchant seaman for 5.5 years, and I was living a life, it was just everything a man could ever want: good money, no kids, no wife. I'm all in the Philippines, Thailand. It's just the world. I just felt like the world was in my palm. I felt like I gained the world, but I was losing my soul. So after having all of that fun, I realized I was missing something. I didn't feel connected anymore. So I started doing some research, and then I got into plant medicine. And then I came across the sacred mushroom, and once I indulged what it showed me and what I felt, and it was instantaneously a calling that I didn't know that I was a part of. And then once I seen, people from my community and how we looked at it, how we were conditioned to just kind of demonize it and not understand the real history. And, people where I'm from, they feel like it's a hippie thing, it's a white thing, it's this, that, all the just the programming. And it really sparked me to want to be an advocate, to like, no, this is for everybody. You should do some research. Have you seen those Egyptian, have you seen the drawings on the walls? Those are actually mushrooms. Did you know where your ancestors, do you know that these were sacred indigenous practices that were stripped away from us, and now we look at it as if it's a bad thing? So ever since then, I started to continue to heal on my path, so that way I can be in position to help people heal. And it's been a beautiful journey. I assist everyone, but it's something special to get someone who has been taught to just really, I've heard the craziest things. You're gonna never come back. You're gonna go crazy. You're gonna do this. You're gonna do that. And to be dealing with those oppositions, and to get people to just consider it, and then later get a phone call like, I'm ready to do the healing. It is so rewarding. It is so necessary, because we all know there's a lot going on in the world, and it's the yin and the yang, and it's all one consciousness, but we need to do the inner work so that way we can work as a collective. It's like a team. They say you're your weakest link. So if we have people, quote unquote, that are weakest link, that are not doing the work, that are constantly pointing the finger, that are constantly being the victim, that are constantly not finding solutions, this is the way, especially when we apply it in a sacred way, not just at a party. If you like to have fun and you're an expert in it, this is not for you. But if you're new to this and you're looking to get some downloads, if you're looking to have that breakthrough, you must administer it in a safe space, so that way you can get what you need. And not only that, after that, now you have to integrate it, Yeah. And so that's what I'm here for. I am so honored to be in position to help people find their way with this sacred mushroom.
Absolutely. And you make a good point. There's been so much history around this. It went from being a religion, across all nations. It still grows wild in all nations, which is why it's illegal to harvest it, but you can grow it all you want. You can even ship spores, because it's such a natural occurring thing. And yet somehow it got demonized, and we became very disconnected from this natural world. And we see it with our food supply. We see it in so many ways too, like with tech, instead of nature, like a beautiful scenery like you, so it's nice to recenter and find that connection again. I love that you're using the words like the sacred mushroom. I'm curious, did you read the book Sacred Mushroom and the Cross? Is that what brought you there, or how did you come to that understanding?
I didn't necessarily read that book, but if from my research, I imagine that it is connected to Gnosticism. And Gnosticism talks about the mushroom and, Christ consciousness. And there's so many. I didn't read that book, but I've read different books and I've gotten things here and there. But for me, out of all the research, Terrence McKenna, Baba Kalindi Iyi, and there's other people. And in my personal experiences too, so when I've had these experiences, it was just so sacred. How you show up is going to determine your experience. So if you show up with it being sacred, if you show up with it being a teacher, a healer, if you show up with this attitude, gratitude is attitude, then you will get much more out of it than just like, and I'm not knocking it. It's good to have fun. Sometimes you just want to do mushrooms and see colors and just have good vibes and some good music. But for those who are really seeking to do the work, it's important to look at it as a sacred thing. And then, words are so powerful. It's energy. So, for a woman, you could be like, oh, look at that woman. You could be like, look at that goddess. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, wow, wait a minute. Hey, now this goddess deserves a little bit more respect, just like the mushrooms is. So words and how we introduce things. And I look, and I'm, I feel like I'm in a position to really influence people. So it's very important how I word things and how I say things, so that way when they get it from me, if they carry it on, they can pass it on, versus just being like, you know, shrooms or this and that. Like, it deserves its proper title, sacred. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. And I am definitely a big advocate for, you know, not only set and setting, but that intention part. Words are these magical spells. They guide us. Napoleon Hill, he made a really good point that to manifest anything, we have to cultivate faith, because faith leads to belief. And once we believe it, we can achieve it, right? But what's the only thing that can cultivate faith? And that's our words. That's our auto-suggestion. That's our affirmations to ourselves. And, you know, and words can be really powerful. They can be poetry. And we've kind of degraded our language in so many ways, our capability to even communicate with each other. You know, it went from poetry. We look at some other languages like Sanskrit. It's all sacred words of empowerment. And then we got the English language today. And I was like, bruh, bae.
Look, I've had my moments when I was just doing research, and then I would have to look a word up. And I'd be like, it has so many different meanings to this word. For example, I was looking up a word, and, you know, like anxiety. There's so many ways of anxiety. You know what I'm saying? When we're talking about insecurity, there's like a lot of different ways of being insecure. So it really helps to be thorough. And that's the thing about the English language. There's nothing we can do about it. But when we understand that it has so many different meanings, we really have to dissect it and get the most out of it, so people can fully relate to it. And the English language, you know, when you get lemons, you make lemonade. But however, I'm working on this, being able to just explain it to a 5-year-old thing, you know. And so I've went from trying to find all these fancy words to just breaking it down and making it simple, just so it can resonate. Take it, and then you can use whatever you want. And here's the funny thing: at the end of the day, you're using words and we're using the language, but the biggest thing is energy. You cannot say nothing and get your point across very well. And I've been learning. I was at a point where, before I started working with this plant medicine, I used to just do so much talking, just over talking, but I wasn't feeling it. I was just trying to sound like I knew what I was talking about. But when I started speaking from the heart, I realized I didn't have to say a lot. I just wanted people to feel what I was saying, which makes a huge difference. And then you're not pouring out your energy, because everything you do and everything you say, that's energy you're putting out there. So we have to be very mindful of the words we say, how we say it, the intentions of what we say, and actually who we're saying it to, because not everybody's ready to receive. So when there's universal laws when it comes to this act, you know. So I had to piggyback on that. Thank you.
Yeah, that's beautiful, and thank you for adding. Do you find like that communication with the mushrooms is its own type of language too? Do you think all psychedelics have the same one, or do you think it's different? What's your experience so far?
Well, when we look at history, you know, when you look at like mushrooms were here before trees, where do mushrooms come from, right? You know, where did the spores come from? I'm not going to speak on all psychedelics, because I don't diss any psychedelic. They all have their benefits. I just resonate so much with the mushroom. I've done LSD, you know, ayahuasca. She's a grandmother spirit, so she may hit you a little different from the mushroom. I know people that would rather do ayahuasca than LSD than mushrooms, you know. So it really varies. And being that I'm just a drop in the ocean when it comes to all of this, I try to be very mindful of what I think I know. You know, even if I'm confident, I still need to be mindful of how I word things. So it's different for everyone. Even when I'm holding space for people, they tell me their experiences that I've never experienced, but I support them because it's your experience. Do I know what you're talking about in totality? Probably not. But I want you to know you're not crazy, and if it's for you, it's for you. If that's what you get. Some people do psychedelics, and then they get in touch with they hear languages that they've never heard before. They get these light languages. They tap into their intuitive gifts. You know, it helps you with so many things. So I'm here to help people find whatever language, because you know, before you do participate in the mushroom. A lot of this stuff can just sound like, are you crazy? Like, what in the hell? But when you get it, you're like, oh, I can see how that's possible, because I've had experiences with people that I didn't necessarily want to share because I wasn't comfortable, because I hadn't fully integrated the experience. So with all that being said, what they do, they unlock pieces of us, because we all come here with gifts, right? Depending on what you're into, if you're into past lives, whatever. But when we're really waking up and removing the veil and remembering who we are and why we're here, and then we get pieces. I'm learning that the soul retrieval, just grabbing pieces of the soul that may be here and there, and then these languages, and being present and being in reverence of it, so that we can receive whatever language what it means to us. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely. And reverence, that's a beautiful word. My mentor, Dr. Dan Engel, he has an Aya roadmap, and for each direction, there's a different R word, and you've already spoke on two of them, and I know you've never even done this training, so I think it's just beautiful that you're already tapping into a lot of these same teachings. It really is part of this collective experience, and yeah, we gotta pay reverence. It's very humbling medicine, and great. And they all do call us individually. I remember doing MDMA one time, and I'm like, whoa, I'm like clairvoyant, I can see your aura. That was like, it was like this whole other dimension. And with mushrooms, definitely my medicine, I feel that it's more grounding and helps me just understand nature better. I love my time in the garden. That's where I was right before coming in here, like almost to the dot. I'm like racing in. I gotta go. But I understand it better, and I love this symbiosis that comes from it, the fractal effect of what's in our garden, in our soils, in our gut is representation of what's going on inside of us and becoming us. It's this, it's this fractal effect. As above, so below, as inside is outside.
Without, yeah. When I first kind of started my awakening, it's like you go through a door, and you go through this door, and there's all these paths. It's all these ways. People doing all these. We got all these different modalities, all these religious and spiritual ways, And I feel like I was just dibbling and dabbling in everything, just to come to the conclusion that they're all pretty much one and the same. They just put their own twist to it. You go to China, you go to India. They have different names that they use to describe some of the same things in Africa, in indigenous culture, and how when they talk about how it's all related, like. It is, and it taught me to really find something that resonates with me and stick to it and really ground myself in it. So, I've had to do some trial and error. I had to really test things out, and see and realize and bump my head and talk about being humbled. I've been humbled too. Like, I've had beautiful experiences. I've had humbling experiences. Letting me know, like, yo, you're not doing what you need to do. This, that, and the third. You might be sounding good to everyone else, but we, the ancestors, are watching you, and we expect great from you. Okay, so because we have to keep telling you this, we might have to discipline you a little bit. It might hurt a little bit, not physically, but mentally, emotionally. My pride, my ego. I've had a few ego deaths. So, yeah, and that's what I try to emphasize for people. I strongly feel that. Until you truly heal and you truly deep dive, it will let you know, it will confirm if you're on the right path or not, and I try to prepare people, be prepared to be open and receive, because you might find out that you are very successful in one area, but you're not called to do that. You might be called to do something else. So you really want to be open, and that's when the work really begins. That's when it starts. Once you have your experience, your breakthrough.
Do you have any tips around setting intention and just preparing in general?
Yeah, as we all know, the setting is very popular. Dosage. I ask people, do you want to open a window? Do you want to open a door? Do you want to tear down a wall? And in the responses I get, let me think about that. So you want to be mindful of very honest with yourself with the type of experience you want to have. First of all, do not take other people's experiences to heart, because their experiences are different. Like the sacred medicine is going to bring out within you. You know, you can't hide from it. You can't run from it. It's going to shine a light on your shadow. It's going to shine a light on all the suppressed stuff. So don't let somebody's horrific experience be like, oh my gosh, I don't want to have to go through that. And what that does is it programs people. And now they're afraid of their experience because of what someone else has done. Don't know. You are, because a lot of people are really good people at heart. And they've done so many things. They've done so many amazing things. They don't give themselves enough credit. So when you go in, it'll just, you feel this galactic hug. You know, it'll be probably the best experience. But of course, that is when you administer it right. You know, you can do it by yourself if you feel you need someone, but you want to make sure. I advise people to detox and fast. Fasting doesn't mean you don't eat. It just means don't eat sweets. You can stay away from meats for a little while. You can stay away from the juices and just intentionally eat healthier, so that way your body is not digesting by the time you get to your experience. You can be clean. The cleaner you show up, the better your experience. Food is information. You put all this junk in you, you still can have a good experience, but we're not aiming for good. We're aiming for phenomenal, fantastic, right? Profound. That's what we want. So, and also, you know, don't be around people who are going to trigger you. You know, if you need a sitter, if you need someone to sit for you, be someone who's really open, who's unconditional, who's going to understand you, let you express yourself the way you need to express yourself, because you may want to yell, you may want to cry, but if you're self-conscious about that, it can really, it can be more of a struggle, because what I've learned is once the medicine kicks in, what needs to come out is going to be there. It's going to be right in your eyesight, and you can either run to it, you can let it happen, or you can run from it. And if you're running from it, it's not going to do anything but chase you the entire time, and that's how people have quote-unquote bad trips. But you need to be in a safe space. But if you're somewhere, like, you know, with all these people and all this music, and then your mother passing away hits you, you know, you may not feel comfortable to express yourself. So you want to be in a position where you can completely let go. This is nothing you want to control. You know, I want to be able to control. This is not cannabis. This is not the same. This is not alcohol. You want to be able to be free and let it do what it needs to do. And also, you can write down what you wish to release. You know, write down what you wish to release. You can do a burn-in ritual. It's very popular in many different ways. You know, you can wait on a full moon. You can wait on a new moon phases and planets in alignment plays a huge part. Even when you're not on the mushrooms. So could you imagine you're going to be that much more sensitive? You can make it intentional, make it special. Get you some sage, get you some Palo Santo. Make it your own. You know, I give people the fundamentals so you can make it whatever it needs to be. I encourage people to do it on an empty stomach. You know, if people, you know, there's this thing called lemon tech. Lemon tech is good because it actually helps break down the psilocybin a little bit more, so that way, because what happens is, you know, the mushrooms are really hard to digest. So if your body's not in a position, some people get nauseous more than others. But, you know, you got to be careful of eating it with pizza, eating it with peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Like, all this stuff is trying to fight, and that causes a lot of nausea. So teas are good with ginger. Lemon tech is good. It helps to break it down and ease the nausea. And I would also just be very mindful of who you get it from, you know, because you're dealing with energy. So, you know, if somebody just comes out of the blue and is like, hey man, you know, you want some mushrooms, and you're not feeling their energy, it just doesn't feel right, then just be very mindful, because energy, it's mushrooms are intelligent, you know, they pick up on so much. So yeah, just for that would be my advice for people. And just the reverence, just accept it with the reverence. How you show up is how you show up is going to dictate your experience. Yeah,
thank you so much. No, you make some good points there, like all around the board. But when it comes to recipes, we are hearing like more and more of this lemon tech. One thing I personally love doing, and I've written articles on this, is blue honey. Ancient, and you brought up ancient Egypt before, and they actually found that honey lasts for like 30 million years or something crazy like that, and it's still really high in antioxidants. It helps with build up your immunity. It helps with allergies, with so many things. And I'm a very spiritual person, so I also love the symbology about bees, like all the knowledge that we're going to be getting from the bees when you tap into like nutrigenomics. I don't know if you ever heard of that, but it's the actual science of that plant life can talk to our cells and our DNA. And that's why eating whole foods from the rainbow is so important, because it helps us tap into some primitive information instead of like this new age processed food that's turning on diabetes and all this other stuff. So I love the idea of just mixing it with the information from the bees who've been around for so long, and it's a natural preservative, and it does help with the digestion. You don't want to do that on the big doses. The lemon tech will probably be more helpful, but for the little micro doses, it's perfect. And you guys can get all that. That's over on Sociadelic. Our friends over there have that article. And then, and I had another question here for you. If you have any advice for anybody if they do have a bad trip.
Remember, it's not going to last forever. Okay? And if you're having a bad trip, address it. Ask questions. What does this mean? What is it? Don't run from it. Just step into it, because that's where the lesson is. Sometimes what seems to be in the way becomes the way. So don't fight it. Don't run from it. Just let it be. It's not going to last forever. You're not going to die. You can think you're going to die, but you're not going to die, okay? As long as you're in a safe space, as long as you don't do anything crazy like run out into the streets or jump on the freeway or, be in a safe space, and just take it. Because everything that happens to you is yours. You know what I'm saying? You're just really running from yourself. You're like, oh my God, I didn't know that was in there. I thought I dealt with that. No, you didn't. Now you did. And now it's time to deal with it.
Yeah.
So, just face it. No matter how dark, no matter what, even whatever it is, address it. It can't hurt you. It can only make you think that it can hurt you. But if you address it, then it will answer you. It will assist you, and it's not going to last forever. You're not going to. I've done high doses and be like, "This is it." I don't think I'm ever coming back, but I came back. So I'm here to tell you, if I came back, you're going to come back to make the most out of it, because you're doing the work. That's why you go in with the intentions of doing the work, so that way this is work to do. So that, because if you do it and you handle it, then you don't have to ever worry about it again, because you've dealt with it. And if it comes up again, you'll be like, oh, I got this. It's just a test. So face it head on. It's yours. Face it. If you want to go to the next level, don't run from it. Face it.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much. I love the idea of, run towards those fears, because they are the way. I've always thought of them as this kind of compass towards that which we really want. But, so often we're hiding behind the tree from the fear. It's like, no, just go out in the open and then they'll get out of the way. You see that when you're walking down the forest, what are you going to hide from the raccoon or anything behind a tree? No, they climb trees. But if you go out in the path, they're not going to stand in front of you. They're going to scatter. And that's the same thing that happens when we do face our fears. And it's nice to face it in our mind, in an experience, from my personal experience, rather than facing it in the outer world, because all of that happens in the psychedelic experience. It's facing us for that real world. And then we can stand up to even bigger things with more confidence. And it just helps us get further ahead to where we really want to be,
That's right. That's what it's all about. It's about mastering you. It's the work from the inside out. Do the work. The stuff that you don't tell people the stuff that you think about, the stuff that comes to your mind. Like, all these things are a part of you. And even without, the sacred mushroom, depending on who you are and where you are and what you want out of life. If you're like a deep diver and you're truly seeking to find your path, seeking higher consciousness, seeking to ascend, this is where it is. You gotta, there's no shortcuts. There's no shortcuts. You have to face your stuff. And the sooner you face it, the sooner you can put it in check. It's not like you're not necessarily facing it to eradicate it or get rid of it. You're facing it to let it know, I'm not afraid, I'm dealing with it. And at the end of the day, it's us. That's how we learn to love all of us. We learn the good things, we learn to love the things that may not be so good, but it's part of us. And it's here to help us. It's here to help us grow and become the best us that we can be,
Thank you. I've got 2 questions. This first one is a little fun, and that is like, I'm inspired by your background right now. So if I handed you a dandelion right now and I said make a wish, what would you change in the world?
What would I change? That's a very interesting question, because as I am on my journey, I'm understanding that everything is perfect the way it is, So if things were different, I probably wouldn't be here, If things wasn't the way it is, it's the yin and the yang, it's the duality, it's the light, it's the dark, it's the above and it's the below, it's the within, it's the without. So I don't think I would change anything, because everything is what made me who I am, and it being the way it is why I descended down here to come here and help out and give a hand. This is a training. This is a freaking training program. This is like boot camp for souls. So I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't change anything.
Oh my gosh, that's so inspiring. Thank you for your honest answer. And lastly, Dev, can you just let everyone know how it is that they can contact you, stay in touch, learn more about who you are and what you're doing?
Yes. I know a lot of people are like, social media. But I've developed quite a bit of relationships and reached a lot of people through social media, Facebook. So Facebook, Devionnce Griffin, DEVIONNCE, Griffin, GRIFFIN. I got some psychedelic clothes on. I'm playing in djembe. I have a group. My group is holding space, peel, heal, reveal. Awesome group of people. We're here to assist each other wholeheartedly, unconditionally, without judgments. Wherever you are, I don't care if you're microdosing or doing 15 grams. We respect you and we support you, because it's work. I've had experiences off of microdoses where I had to literally cancel all my plans, because I had
I'm there.
So I respect everybody. And on IG, Peel, Heal, Reveal, you can find me on IG. And my email is devionnce.griffin@gmail.com. And yeah, I love reaching and building with people that are on this frequency. And I love for people to just feel comfortable. I want to feel approachable. I don't feel like I'm above you or below you. I'm right beside you. I'm here to help you. Like, I have a divine mission to be here for those who are ready to do the work. And if you're ready to do the work, let's do the work together. And if I can be of any of assistance, I'm looking for confirmation for my ancestors and my spirit guides to give me a thumbs up. And that's what I need. Keep going. Like, all right, because they told me some things along my journey, and I'll share this with you. One of my big dosages when I realized I was part of something big is one thing they said, is like, we're waiting on you. This was like a couple years ago. They're like, we're waiting on you. And I didn't know what it meant at the time, but it's beautiful when you can feel closer to that voice that was in your head during your high dose of mushrooms.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. That was a beautiful time. Your bird just flew by you too. Oh my gosh.
Right.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much. We'll talk again soon. And I'm going to link all your information in the description below too, so that it's clickable for anybody out there that's, ready to dive into a group like what you're offering here. So thank you so much again. We'll talk soon. Bye for now.
Thank you so much. Much love. Peace.
Much love.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Growing your own cannabis is easier than you think. Whether you're growing for recreational or medical purposes, BMA Hydroponics has everything you need to succeed. From the standard 4-plant recreational systems to the latest cutting-edge hydroponic equipment, BMA can customize your package and do it at discount prices. Visit BMA Hydroponics at 404 Maitland Drive in Belleville and ask us for a free estimate. Or call 613-967-9888 and we will give you an estimate over the phone.
The only way to go.
In February of 2022, the Victoria Cannabis Buyers Club and Ted Smith were fined $6.5 million. This for helping 8,500 patients with access to medical cannabis. In our interview with Ted, he spoke to us about how people can donate to help in an upcoming court challenge. And here is part of that interview. From what I've seen lately, I believe that you've got something that you're trying to do as far as fundraising to deal with this next court challenge.
For now, people can write checks directly to Jack Lloyd Law Corporation or send e-transfers to savethevcbc@gmail.com. I guess those are the two easiest ways for people to help right now.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
Did you know that the Pace Radio Network isn't just a radio network? That's right, because most, but not all of our programming is now done via video and is then podcasted at paceradio.net. So if you want to watch our programming, you'll find us on the Pace Radio Network's Facebook page, plus the show's own page, and you'll find us live on the network's YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can find it all, video and audio, at paceradio.net.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Hello and welcome, you beautiful souls. It's Ashley here from Elemental Growth, bringing in another wonderful guest. This is our friend Jacqui, and Jacqui has been hosting retreats for many years. I was really inspired to bring her on here because I knew that she would help inspire you guys, anyone who wants to host retreats in their future, anyone who's doing it now, to just be more open and aligned in that way. She's doing amazing work and collaborating with amazing people as well. So, there's a lot here that she's going to share with us today. And without further ado, I'll pass you over to her right now.
Thanks so much, Ashley. Thank you. Yeah, I'm Jacqui Ruiz. I am the founder of Embracing Your Light, where I am personally an emotional perception coach and integration specialist. I'm bringing on currently a team of integration specialists as well. And I'm so grateful that you mentioned the retreats. We're starting a retreat today, so it's exciting. It's a 5-day retreat. This one is a private retreat in Costa Rica. And I love deeply the private retreats. It's where we can, individualize what the retreat is about for the person specifically, for what they want, what they're working through. And it's such a life-changing experience. And, you and I have talked many times about, not many times, but we've talked about the number of people in the industry as well as the people who are needed in this industry, because it's really growing at a rapid rate. And I'm excited that you introduced the retreat work, because I just opened up for retreat facilitator training. I have one that the very first one will start in August, and I'm so excited because the more people that we encourage and guide and grow to be the light workers of this particular type of work, the more people we make a difference for. So thank you so much. Thank you for the awesome introduction and for the opportunity to share and chat with you about this amazing work.
Thank you. Yeah, you touched on something really important too, that ripple effect that, that's one of the reasons why I even was inspired to do any of this, was just in helping in that one-on-one space, which really is my jam. I can't get away from it.
Mm-hmm.
It works so much better, that building that intimacy. And, just that one person then goes out and is helping another person, and then they help other people. And you really get to see the compound effect in effect. And, and it's, what was that quote by Margaret Mead? Never underestimate the small group of individuals can change the world, because indeed it's the only thing that ever has.
No kidding. I think about it in terms of like my own life. I have a number family members. I have a very big family, and I have a number of family members that I would love to introduce psilocybin specifically to. And when I think about I want to just give it to everyone all at once, but really the approach that I've taken is, Mom, will this support you? And when Mom decided to microdose, she opened up for the curiosity of everyone else. And so then my godson decided to microdose, and then my niece decided to microdose, and even my dad decided to microdose. And again, the ripple effect that you're talking about, reach one person, and then it continues to ripple and grow and grow and grow. I love the one-on-one work. I'll do group work as well, but I prefer one-on-one because we really get to give the individual the attention that is specific to them. I don't think that any one of us is we're similar, and we can relate, and we have common behaviors and beliefs and experiences, but we are so incredibly unique that reaching one-on-one interactions it's just so beautiful. It gives us the opportunity to customize this work, and I think that's so incredibly important.
Yeah, especially because so much of education and the system in place by the dominators today, I think, are all about one size fits all. You look at the medical system today. I work with medical practitioners, both in collaboration for helping people, but sometimes I'm also working with them because they're having a hard time relating to that old system, and yet they're also dependent on it, whether financially or through some sort of medication. And once they break through and see, want to embrace their own authenticity, and and are able to talk about the things that set them apart, no matter how crazy or silly or small these details have been made out to be. Then they end up becoming the ones who go out and privately on their own, and they're much happier and than they were otherwise, also healthier, and also earning an independent income. I'm curious, when it comes to the kind of retreat work, integration work, also that you're doing, where do you see your clients get the most benefits from, retreat through the integration? Is there some common trends that you're seeing show up in your work right now?
I think that the common trend is that we all, even as humans, and I see this in the retreats and even in life in general, is that we are all, as humans, we are all seeking to be seen, to feel heard, and to have a sense of belonging. And for me, I think those are the basic necessities of life. similar to water, oxygen, right? Like there are emotional needs. And when one or even three of those are missing, we disconnect, we lose touch. And the result from that is a deep and despairing emotional and mental challenge. That's, I think, strongly where depression comes from. It's where anxiety and loneliness and even desperation grows from. And so when we, in our retreats, when we focus on an individual, because we're one-on-one work, we can see where one of those elements is missing, or one of those elements is feeling a little bit under, like, not paid attention to, missed in some way. And when we can fulfill that and make the connection to how to move into that type of connection, life changes tremendously.
I love that too, like finding those elements are at a place. Like, no health condition, mental health or physical health is, a lack of medication. It's lack of something inside of ourselves. Dr. Mark Hyman said something that was comedic but also kind of profound to me, which is that he works with people with a whole list of clients, and that's why he takes a holistic approach. And it sounds like that this is the kind of thing that people can expect from you going to these retreats.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're all individual, and yet we're all the same in the sense of what our emotional human needs are.
Yeah. And do you find that the people that you're working with, they know already what's wrong with their life or what they want to change in their life? Or, are they coming to you more that they don't know? They're coming from a place of questioning.
Oh, such a great question. I think that we all know. I think intuitively we all know what we'd like to change, what we'd like to rearrange. I like to think of it less of what's wrong, but where can I grow from? How we are, where we are, in whatever it is we're experiencing is meant for something. And when we can make the connection to what it is meant for, where this came from for me, and how do I bring myself some relief or even some inner peace around it? I think that every one of us knows, and I support them with a series of questions beforehand to help them create clarity about it. Because a common answer is, I don't even know what I want out of this. But when the series of questions is explored, it becomes very clear that I've always known this about me, and now I have a clear understanding about what it is that I'm seeking out of it.
Yeah, and then following that, it's almost like getting the confidence to speak about it. How are you guiding your, the people that you're working with in that way?
My approach is all about asking questions. I am loaded with questions. And one question will lead to another and another and another. And when I ask the questions, it really helps an individual to explore, reflect, and come up with their own answers, which then eventually answering and creating clarity and connection. Constant aha moments. I didn't know this about me, but yet I knew this about me. And so my process is all about asking questions. And it builds the trust, and it builds the confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I can so see how all of that would be helpful. Do you ever do it through journaling prompts and things like that too, the introspection work?
Mm-hmm. I have a membership program where once a week I send a journal prompt, and it usually ignites a world of conversation. Just, whoa, I didn't know, again, it's like the I don't know. And I think that the answer is less that I don't know, but more that I've never given myself the opportunity to explore this question.
Yeah, and we do have the time. Like, we all have long lives ahead of us. And for some reason, it's always like, oh, it's not time for that yet, or like, we'll prioritize that later. And, you know, why? Why, if it's going to help in the long term, you know? But it's all choices.
It is. It's all choices. And to answer your question, why, my personal opinion is that it's because we avoid getting real with ourselves, because getting real with ourselves becomes very complicated, and it means we've got to explore the truth, and sometimes the truth is hard to see. And sometimes really knowing where I'm at and what I want and what I'm not getting it can be quite difficult, quite challenging, and sometimes even painful, and it just becomes easier to avoid. So then I busy myself up with things, and then I continue to contribute and tell myself I'm busy. And really what I'm busy is, and don't get me wrong, like, yes, people are busy, and this is a very hustling time in our world. Lots of people are just go. But even that, it prevents us from connecting with ourselves in that way. And I think, truthfully, it's a fear of intimacy. It's a fear of getting to know me in such a way that I share myself deeply with others. And gosh, our world is desperately in need of that. Desperately in need of deep, intimate connection. And if we can't do that with ourselves, of course we're not doing that with others then.
Yeah. It's such a powerful word too, and I feel that in my own personal life and experience, I use it when talking about relationships with others, but it brought even more power in just hearing about it being intimate with yourself. You know, how scary it is to be vulnerable with somebody else. But if you have to be vulnerable with yourself and face that stuff, it's like, it's a whole new level. That is self-mastery. And with that kind of stuff, there is also rewards in it. And you almost start seeing them immediately. They create shifts. You know, auto-suggestion, you know, saying the, you know, how or why and all this, you know, that becomes auto-suggestion just as much as doing this work and figuring out yourself. And then, you know, having that switch, that change, that growth, that comes through the transformation. Information is only power if you use it, you know, otherwise that shelf help, or that it turns into shelf help.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that was a nice book to read.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, that was a wonderful experience. Exactly. And when you're talking about, like, what I talked about earlier, the questions, I like exploring questions and getting intimate with yourself. I use questions. 2 questions I used yesterday in a course that I offer was, in what ways are you fighting for your right to maintain the behaviors that don't serve you? Because we all defend when we're not doing something that supports the direction of where we're going from time to time. And then the other is, in what ways are you denying yourself from being loved? Because we can say to others, I'm busy, and to people that are genuinely just wanting to love us. And those types of questions are the questions that I used in this approach with this work. And it's offering an opportunity to get intimate with yourself.
Man, you're opening me up now. I got some work to do on that second one. I'm like, I got a 6-year-old, a 6-month-old puppy, and a partner. And I'm like, I push all their love aside consistently. Yeah. Like, I'm grateful for it, and I do enjoy times, and I get really present. But there's also times when I'm focused on other things, and I'm like, dude, just like space, or, you know, and what I'm really denying is love.
Yeah.
Yeah. What advice you got from me, Jack?
Well, and I want to say that as you explore that and you feel that, do it in such a way that you don't make yourself wrong for it, but you, again, inform yourself. This is information that empowers me. Now that I'm recognizing this, what can I do about it? Or what do I want to do about it even?
I know what I want to do about it is finish up so I can be present in that time with them without thinking about it. Maybe it's, there's other things. Yeah, obviously my mind's going crazy now with the other options that I can do, time blocking in different blocks and different things. So with the courses that you've got coming up, can you tell us a little bit more about that? What you've got going on now, what's coming in the future?
Yeah, so currently I have been doing a micro method course. It's using psilocybin, and it's an 8-week course, and it combines the use of psilocybin along with emotional perception work. There are plenty of people in the world who are exploring psilocybin, who are exploring microdosing across the board, not specifically with psilocybin, but across the board exploring microdosing. And if we're not, there's magic in microdosing, right? And it can certainly make a difference and help us adjust and create clarity, many, many things. However, if we're not doing our own work to break the habit, to get clear on what we want, to find ways to remove the blocks that we've created for ourselves to reach what we want, then similarly to what we just talked about, it becomes, oh, that was a nice experience. And so the micro method course is an 8-week journey of just that, combining microdosing along with emotional perception work. I just hosted my last one. I just started my last one rather, because what I'm realizing is that people often stop at one cycle and then they don't reach the accumulative effect, the effect that prolongs the benefits. And so they're restarting. They feel good with one cycle, they stop, reset their tolerance level, and then 5 months later, they're starting again. They want to try it again. When you can go, something like 3 cycles or on average, it's from my experience, 3 cycles to reach the accumulative effect that prolongs the benefits of microdosing to the degree that even for some it's 2 years long, then we're kind of just resetting people over and over. And so I've decided that I'm going to stop the 8-week course and create a course that allows for the opportunity for a 3-cycle series. So more and more people are reaching that accumulative effect point. So I do the micro method. Looks like you want to say something. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So, sorry for if I thought
okay. No. Let's talk about it.
Thank you. Yeah, we hear this all the time in our practice too, where but we're working a lot of time with like people with addictive behaviors or that have had people with addictive behaviors in their life. And so they really want to stay away from it. So they're like, oh, well, I just stopped this cycle because I don't want to become dependent on it. And I mean, I know my answers for it, but I'm really curious how it is that you're talking to them. You've got the solution, obviously, which I'd love to hear more about. But yeah, if we can talk about this too, that would be great.
That's a very valid concern. I don't want to become dependent on it because, sure, especially from an addictive perspective, and the important part is to create an understanding for the relationship to the thing or the things that an individual is addicted to, and where does that addictive desire come from? It's usually to fulfill a space that isn't filled. And so when we can approach that from what is the root of this, then we can build healthy relationships with the things that we desire. Alcohol, for example, caffeine, for example, sugar, for example. When we can give ourselves some grace in the relationships that we desire with those things, we bring softness to our approach and how to remedy them. And for me, in my experience, that's a huge point of access for healing that part of us and our desire for things that aren't serving us or unhealthy for us. And again, when it's related to microdosing specifically, and the fear for that, what my approach is to talk about what is the fear and then address the root from where that comes from. I think is such an incredibly important thing, because then what happens is I'm just running away from, once again, something that I'm uncomfortable with. And we really have to lean into those things. And leaning in really means like giving ourselves permission to feel what we feel by honoring it, acknowledging it. And even to the degree a lot of my coaching is around, hello fear, let's have a conversation with fear. Hello fear, there you are. Hello, I see you. I feel your presence with me. And what are you here for? What are you here to teach me? And when we can have those internal conversations about the fears, I fear I'm going to become dependent on this thing. Let's have a conversation about it. And it really does support with easing into receiving guidance from someone like yourself or me, to trust and allow to be led in the way where, you have the solution. You have the solution because you've been doing this practice and and it really is just a matter of giving someone permission to feel what they feel, and then building the trust and guidance. Trust within themselves, less trust with you, but trust within themselves that they will know when it's really time, and they will also know when it's really fear, and how fear is such a limitation.
Yeah, I love that. I love how you put all of that into perspective. And, I like to think about fear as like a compass. You go towards it. You figure out, like you're saying, you're giving actionable steps there and how it is that you can have this conversation, which I think is beautiful. Thank you for that. We just have a few minutes left here. So if you want to share about your retreat, and then also how everyone can contact you if they want to learn more about what it is that you're doing as a coach or retreat leader, or just, connect with you, and finish up this conversation in another way.
Yeah, there's so much more to talk about.
One-on-one.
Right? Exactly. So I can be found at www.embracingyourlight.life, and I can be found on Instagram, Embracing Your Light, on Retreat Guru, Psychable.com, and Third Wave. And what else? I want to say I do retreats. I do private retreats. I do fewer group retreats because my heart is with individuals, because we're all so unique. And so I do private retreats both in Costa Rica and California. I do online courses, and I do one-on-one work. And I also do a consultation process, especially for people who want to do microdosing on their own. It's such a tricky place to be, especially for people who are on SSRIs, any kind of medication, antidepressant, anti-anxieties. I encourage that you reach out to someone to get some real good guidance on that, because it's pretty precarious, and want to be sure that you're doing it in a way that's healthy and fitting for you. And their online research is one thing, but it doesn't really detail for you, specifically the individual, what your proper dosage and what your proper regimen would be. And so I also offer consultations in that way. So many ways to access me.
Yes, thank you, Jacqui. And I'll also put links below in the description here, so it's easier for you guys. Yes, last question, Jacqui, and then I'll let you go because I know your time is so valuable.
Thank you.
So if I was to give you a dandelion right now, what would be your wish for the world today?
My wish for the world today, without hesitation, is that everyone finds inner peace. Can you imagine a world where every individual feels inner peace? What a different world we would be living in.
I think we have to write another script to the Imagine song by John Lennon. Yeah, that would be a beautiful visualization. And I'm going to definitely meditate on that today. So
thank you.
Yeah, thank you too, Jacqui. We'll talk soon, all right?
You're welcome. Thank you so much. This was so lovely. Bye.
Bye for now.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
BMA Hydroponics has everything you need to succeed. Visit our hydroponics superstore at 404 Maitland Drive in Belleville, and we'll show you how to grow your own quality cannabis for pennies per gram. We're open Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Thursdays and Fridays from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Call 613-967-9888. BMA Hydroponics. It's worth the drive.
The only way to go.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
Did you know that the Pace Radio Network isn't just a radio network? That's right, because most, but not all of our programming is now done via video and is then podcasted at paceradio.net. So if you want to watch our programming, you'll find us on the Pace Radio Network's Facebook page, plus the show's own page, and you'll find us live on the network's YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can find it all, video and audio, at paceradio.net.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.